these are things that either make me more efficient as a reseller or they make me more money. So that was the criteria that I used for these things to make it on the list. If it was something that I use or have gathered over time or whatever, but I don't feel like it makes me more money or makes me more efficient, it's not on the list. Download your free reseller resource guide today. I constantly update and share with you discounts, favorites, tools, and resources to help you with your reselling business. After the video, click the link in the description and get your totally free guide today. I recently was asked, what are the most critical and essential tools to my business? I was like, whoa, that's a deep question. Because over the years, I've used so many tools and I have purchased so many things and I have signed up for so many things, and some things work out really good and some things don't. And I thought, this is actually a good idea for a video to share with many people instead of just one person about, what are the most critical tools and equipment and services that I purchase and pay for and use in my reselling business. And primarily I'm a Poshmark seller, but I have been on and off many other platforms and I do lots of different things. But primarily for my reselling business, I thought it would be a great idea to just go ahead and quickly share with you everything that I use and everything that I depend on. And I'm not gonna I have done a reseller equipment video. That video is available with photos and things. I'm gonna keep this very simple, because it's really just about you kind of taking in the information and deciding for yourself what would be good for your business and if what works for me could potentially work for you. But I have links to everything in my description. Go ahead and click on the link to the reseller resource guide. That has everything that I recommend, and it includes all the discount codes as well. So everything that I recommend, everything that I use is in the reseller resource guide. I'm going to highlight some very specific things here, things that are the most critical, the most essential for my reselling business that I rely on all the time, but everything is linked in the description in the reseller resource guide. So these are things that either make me more efficient as a reseller or they make me more money. So that was the criteria that I used for these things to make it on the list. If it was something that I use or have gathered over time or whatever, but I don't feel like it makes me more money or makes me more efficient, it's not on the list. Okay, so I'm gonna start with some services first, because I have done an equipment video in the past. So I'm going to start with the services and things first, and then I'll get into a few pieces of equipment. So the first is Poshmark VA. Poshmark VA is an automation service. I've talked about it like crazy on this channel and on my Instagram. It is fantastic. I have tested out several automation tools. I have used many automation tools in the past, and I even used to pay real people to do the things that the automation tools do. So I have run the gamut and experimented with everything. And Poshmark VA is the one for me, and I do have that discount link down below. So I utilize and rely on Poshmark VA for sharing, for offer to likers, for many things, and it is the reason why I have so many sales every month, because I could never do all the work that Poshmark VA does for me, and it is 100 million times paid for itself, by the small fee that I pay in the sales that I make. So definitely Poshmark VA is number one. The next thing is Vendo. And Vendo is known widely as a cross-listing service. And so I have been on and off of different platforms. And so I've used it primarily for cross-listing. But as I used it for cross-listing, it then became more of a reseller hub for me. And so now it's where I create all my drafts. It has a lot of tools for photos that is really helpful. It allows me to easily cross-post, of course. It allows me to relist and delist with literally 2 clicks, which is amazing. And so even though now I'm primarily on Poshmark, I don't do my relisting for free through Poshmark. I use Vendo because it's like click, click. Or I could click 10 at a time and have it delist and relist 10 at a time, walk away, go read a book with Geo, come back, and 10 items have been relisted and delisted. So the Vendo way of relisting and delisting, and I always say it really should be delisting and relisting. The Vendo way is by far the fastest and easiest way to do it. And so that that alone to me is worth it. But obviously I utilize all the other parts. I love using labels. I love that I can organize all of my inventory in certain ways. I love that I can track certain things by these labels. I love the analytics, the inventory management. Like, I'm in Vendo all the time, and my virtual assistant is in Vendo all the time, and she does all of these things for me, but then I even go in on top of that and do some additional things. So it's amazing for both her, faster doing the work that she's tasked to do, and then it obviously makes my life a lot easier as well. So Vendo has really become like the listing hub, and I tried it first for cross posting. It was amazing, and I never needed to look for or compare it to any other service. So I've never tried any other service, but I've never had a need to, because Vendo has always fulfilled my needs, and Vendo's customer service team is probably the best I've ever dealt with across any kind of company for any kind of reason. They are 100% there for you to help you all the time. Then they really do a lot of improvements, and they want to know what you think. They want to see, they've had me go on calls with them to give my opinions. They've taken polls. They're constantly adding new features and making improvements. And to me, that is the sign of an amazing company that I choose to continually support with my money, because not only do I get the benefit of using the product, but I want to support companies that are like that, like customer-centric, forward-thinking, always improving kinds of companies. Yes, so more power to Vendo. Love them so much. I highly recommend that you give them a try. Again, discount link, free trial, and it's same with Poshmark VA as well. Poshmark VA and Vendo, you get a free trial. When you use my link, then you get the discount. Now with Vendo specifically, many content creators for reselling have a 20% code. I have a 30% code, so just saying, get a little extra off on that. The third service that I use that is crucial to my business is Helpsy Source. I order almost all of my inventory from Helpsy Source. Now, I have used other companies in the past, and I do recommend them, and they're all in the reseller resource guide, but the majority of my items come from Helpsy Source, and they have been for quite some time. The team from Helpsy Source, and it used to be Cozy Threads, it became Helpsy Source, but the team that was at Cozy Threads used to be with Jomar. And even though there were some issues over there and that ceased to exist as a wholesale source, it's some of the same people. And so even though it's completely different companies with different operations and things like that, and I'm sure they would want you to know that they're separate, for me, I known some of the team since they reached out to me on Instagram and said, hey, I have a mystery pack. Do you want to buy it? Like, that's how it all started years ago, by someone just reaching out to me and saying, hey, I have a mystery pack. Do you want to buy it? And I did. So that then turned into, they have become my main source of inventory. I no longer go to thrift stores. I've completely changed how I run my business because of them, because I can get better stuff from them than I can when I go to my thrift stores. And it takes no time, and I'm not driving, and some things are cheaper than my thrift stores. Some things aren't. Obviously, if you go to the bins, they're probably not cheaper, but I would not find the kinds of things that I buy from Helpsy Source at the bins. So that's like you can't compare. But compared to my regular thrift store, I can get dresses from Helpsy Source for way less than I can at my thrift store. So to me, it's like a no-brainer. You can't just buy everything, right? You can't just buy everything. You have to pick and choose. And I've done videos on that. I have plans to do more videos on that, about picking good palettes and picking good boxes. But I bought boxes, I bought palettes. I don't think I've spent $100,000 with them, but I have spent high tens of thousands of dollars with them over the last few years. I should actually probably add it up. You never know, it could have gone to $100,000, but I've spent ridiculous amounts of money with them to get all the inventory, or close to all the inventory, for my reselling business. And so, there's no company is perfect. Sometimes things take a little long. Sometimes there's this, sometimes there's that, but that's with all things, especially, secondhand liquidation. But Helpsy Source by far is my top, and I have Rebecca the Reseller code, gets you 10% off. And so if you've never ordered a box from anywhere, you may want to try to just order a box. Like, I think that if you haven't ever tried ordering online in bulk, maybe you don't know, but like, you need to pick good boxes, of course. You can't just buy anything. But getting in a huge influx of things right to your door that you can just start listing and just start taking photos of without all of the time and effort ahead of it is amazing. And so I save hours every week not going to thrift stores. Hours. And I get better stuff than I used to get at my thrift stores. And I'm listing things for $35, $50. So I'm picky about what I list. And I'm able to supply my entire reselling business pretty much through Helpsy Source. So that was a big commercial on that one, but it is really the truth. And I wanted to make this video like, why do I actually use these companies? What is the crucial role that they play in my business? And if you're not using them, that doesn't mean you can't have a good business. Sure, of course you can. But sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And so you may be like, wow, Rebecca really relies on Helpsy Source to run her entire business. Like, that's crazy. Maybe I should just try a box and see what it could do for me. Same with Vendo, same with Poshmark VA. So that's that. The other one is an app, which is called Pick Tap Go. I heard about it years ago from Empty Hanger, Jenna. I don't think that she makes videos anymore. I'm not really sure. But she said that she used this brightening app called Pick Tap Go. I know I paid for it, I think. I don't really know because it's been years now that I've had it, so I don't really know if you pay for it once, I think, because I don't pay for it every year. It's not a subscription one. And so it brightens my photos. I have used Photo Room. I do use Photo Room periodically to take out the background if I need it, but I don't really like the look of the complete background taken out. I more like the look of a white background, so I have photo backdrop paper and a command hook, and I hang my item and I have my ring lights, and then I just brighten it a little bit more with Pick Tap Go. And to me, it looks more natural and more like a real person took the photos, and it's just a more natural bright than the stark, complete photo backdrop taken out kind of look. Also, I think a lot of people, they do that instead of making it bright, instead of using, lights and stuff. And so when you just take the background out, the item itself, if the photo is dark, you still can't really see it very good. And now it's against this bright, stark white background, and so it looks really weird to me. So it could just be a personal preference, but I really much like the look of a natural but bright thing. And so I get that with Pick Tap Go. And you can I usually just do the cover photos. So once I take all my photos in batches, you can just go ging, 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 and select all your cover photos, click brighten in your filter, and then it just does it all for you. So you don't have to do every single one, which could be time consuming and kind of annoying. So that is that. So those are like the services, the apps, things like that. There's a million other things, but I don't think that they are as critical as these are. I use these every day, all the time. Couldn't run my business without them. Rely on these things. Now, for equipment, I did do that video on a variety of reseller setups based on price. So it was like $100 setup versus $1,000 setup and all the things that go into it. So check out that video if you want to like really see the things and stuff, but I'm just going to list a few things. All of the links, these are all in my Amazon shop, and the link to my Amazon shop is in that reseller resource guide as well. Don't forget to stop by the Rebecca the Reseller Academy, where you can find all of the products and all of the educational tools I have available for you, including all the free goodies. Here you can find coaching calls, Poshmark closet reviews, digital downloads, including my free reseller resource guide, as well as all of my courses and all of the bundles to save you lots of money. Hope you'll stop by soon at the Rebecca the Reseller Academy. So, ring lights, 150% the best thing you could get. I have had daylight bulbs, I've had all kinds of things. You can't get away with just one ring light, you need to balance the shadows. I have two right now, they're on me right now, but usually they're facing that way when I take my photos. The second you can get, $200 or however much they cost, profit in your business that you can spend on lights, do it. Yes, do it. My phone, so I use my phone to take all my photos, and so I don't use cameras. You don't need fancy cameras. I just use my phone. And so I do think that you could pretty much run your entire business from your phone. I do choose to do things a little bit differently for certain tasks and use my computer, but I don't think you need the computer like you need the phone. And so I listed that as an essential thing. So ring lights, phone, clothing rack, and hangers. I guess this could be borderline, you don't need it, but it really makes my life more efficient. And that was kind of my criteria for the list. I have my rack full right now, completely full, like ran out of hangers, completely full. And I have 60 tops hangers and I have 60 bottoms hangers. And so the whole rack is full, and I'm planning on doing a big batch of photos here soon. I've been kind of procrastinating and making videos instead, but I'm going to do it probably next week. I have a lot of stuff already. So I have a full rack and I can hang everything up immediately. So instead of things being all over my reseller room, like in bags and getting wrinkled or whatever, I can immediately hang things up. I order in bulk, as I've already said. So when I get the box, I immediately hang things up. And so it's hung, and so that's good. I can also go through it and kind of decide what I'm photographing and maybe in what order. I don't really spend a lot of time on that, but I do like to batch things. So if I have a bunch of cashmere, I want to kind of put that all together. Or maybe a bunch of pants and jeans, I'll put all those together. So I'm in that kind of a rhythm. For me, it goes faster. Also, when I give those photos to my VA, it makes things easier for her too. Or if I have, like a bunch of, right now I have a bunch of Lily Pulitzer and a bunch of Torrid. So all those are together. So I can easily kind of like put them in order on the rack. So I think it's good for hanging to make your business more efficient for what order you're going to do things, so that you don't maybe have to steam as many things, so that everything can be nicely hung up. And then I think it just makes the actual photo process go really fast. And I've done a couple videos on like my photo process and how that works, but I have that process down to a science. Like, it hasn't changed in years. It took me a while to get to that point, but now that I have, it is like, this is the Rolls Royce of setups for me. Nothing changes. Everything is perfect, exactly the way it needs to be, so that I can literally do 30-second photos. Like, I have an Instagram post of however long it takes me. I haven't timed myself in a while. I probably should. But yeah, so I feel like having a clothing rack and then lots of hangers so you can hang up many items at once can make the whole process a lot faster and more efficient. So it's not necessarily going to make you more money, but you can get a lot more done in a lot less time if you have it. Resealable plastic bags have the 9x12 size or the 12x15 size, and it's resealable. So it's a zipper, like Ziploc, but it's not Ziploc. And so I like those the best. Those are the most efficient. They work really well. I've reused them. I don't like the ones where you pull off the strip and fold it. Those drive me crazy. The strip like sticks to your fingers with like static cling or whatever. Like, I've tried so many bags, and the ones that I have and the ones that I recommend are the best ones and make everything go faster. So I couldn't run my business without those resealable bags. It's how I store the inventory. I just think it's the best possible thing. IKEA bags, I couldn't run my store without IKEA bags, and it helps me make more money and save time because I store everything in them. So I use it to carry all kinds of stuff all the time, fine. But I stopped buying bins a long time ago because they got super expensive. And so I can fit at least 25 women's clothing items in a bag, but oftentimes much more. And I use them on the shelves of my shelving racks at my storage unit to store all of the items. And I have like a number system, a good inventory system, super efficient. And it basically, like, IKEA bags are the lifeblood of it because you can smush them down when you don't need them. You can easily take items in and out of bags. You can use it for other purposes. And they're way cheaper than bins and boxes. So for me, IKEA bags are the way to go. Then I think the last most, important thing as far as equipment goes is photo backdrop paper, which I mentioned. It's white, and you can get it on Amazon in my links. I have it removable tape on my wall, and I have a whole video about how that setup was done and how to put it up yourself. It's very easy. And I've had this, it's lasted me years. It's great. And so it just gives those photos, like I said, that natural white background. You don't need to have a white wall. You just throw up the paper, get some blue tape, the painter's tape, and put a command hook and you're done, and it's amazing. So I really feel like there's no excuses when it comes to not having good photos, because all it takes is like 3 tiny pieces of equipment to go ahead and get those nice white photos. So photo, backdrop, paper, and command hook, that's the equipment. The last thing that I will say that I looked at in my setup here that I can't really rely without and saves me so much time is my photo ready measurements form. You can 100% make your own. I do have mine available for purchase as a digital download in the Rebecca the Reseller Academy, link down below. But it's just a little form. I have a video on it, and I write the measurements down, and then I take a photo of the measurements on the form, and that saves me from having to do all kinds of typing of them out, copying and pasting. It looks nice. It's not the measuring tape on there. It allows me to keep a hanging process going. And so for those reasons, I find that it is very efficient for my business. And so I do love them, and I use them each and every day. So these were all the things that I cannot run my business without. Without all of the services, without the equipment I mentioned, and without my photo ready measurements form. These are the things that my business runs on. It may be completely different for you, but hopefully it's just kind of giving you a little bit of perspective to try something new, check something out, or just a good place to start and say, you know what? I'm just going to do what she does, and I'm not even going to give it a second thought, because then you don't have to think about any of it. You just follow what I do. And that's totally fine, because I've tried out literally everything, so you don't have to. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.